And we're going to be doing that by highlighting GEW's groundbreaking AeroLED system, which is our fully air-cooled 18 watt per centimetre squared, full cure for printing, coating and converting applications, up to about 150 metres a minute and up to 60 centimetres wide. Also, we're highlighting the fact that we have our groundbreaking ArcLED technology, which enables us to switch any print station from mercury to LED just by changing the cassette. And AeroLED, the switch to AeroLED is going to give you somewhere between 60–70% energy savings over a mercury system. And we're going to run a bolt demo today. We're going to demonstrate this for you live. So we're going to run first arc lamps, 4 arc lamps on stations 2 to 5. E2C mercury running at 140 watts. We're going to run a 2-minute print job at 120 meters a minute. And James here is we have a power meter connected to the UV cabinet behind the press. And we're going to show you the peak load amps and the kilowatt hours that we're consuming during that job. Then we're going to switch the press to LED. Giovanni is going to do that for us, show you how quick and easy it is to do that. And then we're going to run exactly the same job with LED. With our AeroLED system, 53 watts a centimetre, running 120 for 2 minutes. And we're going to compare the energy consumption and the peak load from the 2 different technologies. So, let's try and get started. So, James, you bring up the energy meter. The first thing that we need to do is to start the lamp. So James is going to reset the energy meter. And I've started the lamps. So you can hear the fan start up. Now, what's happening at the minute is the shutters are closed, the lamp has struck, and we're starting to see an increase in power. James will show you the amps starting to come up as the lamps warm up. On a brand new E2C system like this is going to take about 1 minute for those lamps to get warm before we can open the shutters and start printing. LED, of course, we don't have this warm-up phase at all, and you'll see that later in the time saving that we have in this job as well. Now, what you've got to think about is all the operator time and power that you're using in this warm-up phase that you don't have with LED. So Giovanni's stood here doing absolutely nothing. You're paying your operators to sit around and do nothing while you're waiting for your lamps. And this happens on every single job. And you've got to think over the course of a year, 2 shifts a day, 6 days a week, this adds up to a lot of time. And it can be a big, big impact on the return on investment for a UV system. So the UV is now ready. Giovanni's going to start the press. What's happened now is the shutters are going to open as the machine starts to run. And the lamps are going to start to run up as the press increases in speed. The lamps will also increase in power up to 100%. So we're seeing the full load amps start to increase. Once we're running at 60, so we'll just wait for the print run. It's coming up to 120 meters. But we can see already the lamps are 100% power, and they're now consuming 43, 42 amps is coming from that electrical cabinet. James is going to screenshot that, and we're going to have a look at that at the end of the run. Now, of course, what we've got to remember inside the arc lamp is that we have bulbs, and those bulbs over 1,500 hours or so are going to degrade in power by about 30%. On top of that, you've got reflectors, which over 6,000 hours or so, I don't know what happened there. The press has stopped. So over 6,000 hours or so, the reflectors are also going to degrade. And you can lose around 50% of your UV output over the course of that 6,000 hours. What you've got to remember is that in an arc lamp, 75% of the light is reflected. And so the reflectors and the quality of those reflectors is extremely important. Now, the reason to highlight this is that with LED, all of that is gone. You don't need to worry about that. It's just instantly on, instantly off. You don't need to worry about reflectors and all of these things which affect the curing power that comes down onto that web. So with LED, what we're going to see, and what our customers see that fit LED on machines, is significantly increased process control. Because you're not worrying about the lamp, you're not worrying about the reflectors, your operator just knows it's on or it's off, and he doesn't have to worry. So day after day, week after week, the process control is significantly increased. Those unknown factors are gone. So James, how are we doing on the print run? So we've got 30 seconds left on the print run. And James is, as soon as that print run's finished, James is going to bring up the power consumption. So we've now consumed about 1.2 kilowatt hours during this job. As soon as the print run finished, so we've run 2 minutes, Giovanni's now going to stop the press. Now that the press has stopped, I'm immediately going to stop the lamps. Now what's happened is the lamps have closed, the press has stopped. The fan is still running at 100% at the back, and we've entered the cool down phase of the lamps. Okay? So we're waiting, we're pulling the heat off of the lamp so that it's safe to change, but also so that the lamp is cool and we can restrike it, because we can never restrike a hot lamp. This process is going to take about 3 minutes. So while we wait for our arc lamps again, because we're sat around waiting for arc lamps, I'll tell you about AeroLED. AeroLEDs are fully air-cooled, 18 watt per centimetre squared unit. Comes in a variety of wavelengths, but 395 nanometers is what we're using here today. And we reckon we can cure up to around 150 meters a minute, and this unit we make up to 60 centimeters wide. It's cooled from a central fan. So we have one fan at the back, which is pulling the air into the press and onto the fan at the back. And what that means is we're not exhausting any air into the print units. We're not kicking up dust, creating pickies and print defects. We don't have that. We also use the same E2C housing between our E2C and AeroLED. And that means that the cassette fits in both casings. And this gives us our unique ArcLED ability. That is the ability to configure this machine in any combination of mercury or LED, depending on the inks or coatings that you're using. And customers need that flexibility because certain coatings, release coatings, specialty coatings, still need UV. And so we often see 7 LEDs and one arc lamp at the end for varnish. What it also means though is that this press is future-proof. Any machine that we sell with ARC is already ready to upgrade to LED in future. And we have more than 30,000 print units in the market on machines that you have that can be upgraded to LED just by buying a cassette and doing a software upgrade, and that is it. So if you want to spec your machine with LED, talk to Omet, and if you want to upgrade old Omet machines that you have, talk to us, and both of us will be able to help you out on that. But it's a very quick, easy upgrade. So we have about 40 seconds left on the cool down, and then after that what we're going to do is James is going to finish screenshotting the power that we used during the whole run, and we're going to compare that to the mercury lamp when we switch to LED in a minute. So I'll just remind you, the beauty of AeroLED is that we can flexibly configure this machine. So you can have LED or mercury in any position, and an operator can change that job to job. You'll see in just 1 minute how quick and easy that is to do. Giovanni's going to do that on our press for us in just a second. Literally takes less than a minute to switch from LED to ARC on any position. Gives you total flexibility on a printing machine to be ready now and go to LED in the future. So Giovanni's going to start switching over the cassettes for us. James is going to record the kilowatt hours, so we ran nearly 1.5 kilowatt hours to run that 2-minute job, and we're going to compare that later. So now we're retrofitting. You can see the guys just require one tool, one 8mm hex key to remove the cassettes, and they're going to pull those cassettes out, and then they're going to take our AeroLED cassettes, which are here ready, and they're going to slide these back into the print station. Our power supply platform behind the machine is RLT, our Rhino power platform. And this can automatically switch between AC and DC power in order to power the LEDs when they're plugged in. And what this does is it gives you the fastest route to upgrade to LED anywhere. So if you look at the screen over here, if you have this cabinet behind your press, your machine is ready to LED, to go to LED instantly, and you can just buy LED cassettes, do a software upgrade in 20 minutes, and your whole press is switched to LED. And that's why we say that we can retrofit your machine to LED in just a lunch break. Just a lunch break is the only time it takes to switch an entire machine to LED. So you just got to remember, look behind your machine. If you see that cabinet, you're ready to go. So, last cassette's going in now. After we get the last cassette in, we're going to restart the lamps. James is going to reset our power meter, and we're going to run exactly the same job, but this time with LED. So I'll reset. I'll select the lamps here that we're going to run. Lamps 2, 3, 4, and 5. Giovanni, you ready? James, you reset. So I've started the lamps. Instantly, the lamps are ready, and Giovanni's going to start running the press to 120 meters a minute. So now, unlike the arc lamps, the LEDs, when the press starts, the LEDs are just going to instantly come on, just like your light bulb at home. Okay? And now the same process happens again. As the press ramps up to 120 meters, the lamps are now running at 100% power. So you can see we're pulling about 16, 17 amps. You remember where we were with the UV? Up above 40 amps? It's a huge reduction in installed power. We're going to come back to that later, but James is going to screenshot that now for us. So you can see that the power is much less, and that's because these lamps are running at 50 watts a centimetre electrically compared to 140 with the mercury lamps. And of course, like I said before, there's no reflectors, there's no lamps in here. It's instantly on off. And the lamps, the LED lamps are going to last for around 40,000 hours usage. And that's only printing time. So that equates to more than 10 years of printing before you need to change these lamps. The only maintenance you need is to wipe the window and keep it clean. And that means that your output is consistent, day after day, year after year. The temperature is much lower, and that leads to massively improved process control and hugely easier registration on the machines as well. So it helps the machine and it helps your quality control. And that's why we see many customers who have gone to LED never go back, because these process control benefits can't be shown on an ROI. We can't show you how much that's going to save you, but it saves you a lot of money, it saves you a lot of time. So we've got 10 seconds left. James is going to count us down. So, finish. So we finished the 2-minute print run. The LEDs, as soon as the power comes down, the power is coming down on the LEDs until it's stopped, and now the LEDs have gone off. I can instantly stop the lamps, and we're done. Now what's going to happen now is with LED we do still have a very small cool down cycle. The fan is still running, pulling air over the cassettes. That's because the window gets pretty hot with all the light passing through it, and we don't want an operator to burn their hands when they pull out the cassette at the end of a job. So we're just waiting for that to happen, and then James is going to record the energy. But you can see here, we're at only about 0.4 of a kilowatt hour compared to where we were with almost 1.4 kilowatts that we were using on the previous job. So we've just saved about a kilowatt, and we'll see that in a second. The cool down's finished. James, if you take the readings. So James is now going to put that in a quick Excel chart for us and pull that into the presentation so that we can see exactly what we've done. What we find is that on average, we ran a 4-color job here. We might run 8 or 10 colors on your machines. What we generally find is that the installed power, the amps on the breakers that you've got to install, comes down by around 65%, and the energy consumption when you're running your machine comes down by about 70% when you move to GEW's AeroLED system. So here you can see our maximum current draw went from 43 to 17 amps. It's the top row. 60%, just like I said. The total power used, 1.48 down to 0.37 kilowatts. That's a 75% energy saving in running that 2-minute job that we just did. And we also saved 4.5 minutes in running the job itself because we didn't have the warm-up and we didn't have the cool-down. So, as we say, 2 of the main reasons we switched to LED to free up mains capacity. 2 Omet machines fitted with mercury lamps takes the same power as 3 Omet machines fitted with AeroLED. You can fit 3 machines in the same power as 2 if you switch to Aero. You should be speccing your machines with LED. And secondly, we look at the operating cost of the machine. We just showed you we saved 75% energy. If we took a classic customer, 6 days a week, 2 shifts a day, with an energy cost of 25 cents per kilowatt hour, this customer is going to save over 40,000 euros in a year by switching his machine to LED. He's going to save 121,000 kilowatt hours and over 50 tons of CO2. And so that's why we are saying that if you're not thinking about LED now, you should be. It's not something for the future. LED is a technology for today. You can spec it on your new Omet machine. Return on investment on a retrofit is less than 2 years. On a new machine, it's less than 1. So if you want to know more, come and visit GEW at our booth in Hall 4, or talk to your Omet representative, and we'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for listening. Have a good show.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you all. And enjoy the rest of the show.